Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin tonight by telling you something I learned a long time ago. Every life has a turning point. Not a year, not a decade, just a moment. A moment when a man or a woman finally says, "This is it. Something has to change." And for some people, that moment comes like a whisper in the night. For others, it arrives like a winter storm. But whenever it comes with a message. Never again. You see, life gives us seasons. Spring for opportunity, summer for growth, fall for harvest. But winter is the season of courage. Winter is the season of decision. Winter is the season where you either break or you build. And I want to invite you into a new kind of winter tonight, a winter arc, a 90-day journey where you stop drifting and start designing, where your excuses melt away and your discipline rises up, where you stop waiting for the world to change and start becoming the kind of person who changes their own world. In my experience, people don't turn their life around because they want to. No, wanting is cheap. People turn their life around because life finally reaches the point where they say, "I refuse to live like this any longer." That's the real beginning. That's the day that changes everything. Not the day you get a raise, or the day you meet someone inspiring, or the day you read a good book. No, it's the day you finally look in the mirror and say, "I'm done with the old story. I'm ready for the new chapter." Tonight, I want to help you create that moment. I want to help you build a season of transformation so powerful that you'll look back years from now and say, "That winter was the turning point. That was when I went from hoping to deciding, from wishing to working, from confusion to clarity, from drifting to driving." And let me ask you a question. What if the next 90 days became the most important 90 days of your entire life? What if this winter became the season people talk about when they tell your story someday? Remember that winter? That was when she decided. That was when he changed. That was when everything shifted. It only takes one season to rewrite the next 10. So tonight, the invitation is simple. Step into the winter arc. Step into a season of discipline, rebuilding, clarity, and courage. Step into the season where you finally say, "Never again will I live below my potential." And once you say it, mean it. And once you mean it, act on it. Because that is how a life is transformed, not by chance, but by a moment of resolve, followed by a season of disciplined action. Let's begin that season together. Let's talk about two of the most powerful words in the human language. Never again. If you ever want to change your life, start right there. Because the truth is, transformation doesn't begin with a new plan, or a new course, or a new book. It begins with a new standard, a line in the sand, a declaration that says, "I will not live this way anymore." Now, I didn't invent those words. History taught them to us. You remember the story after World War II, one of the darkest moments humanity has ever witnessed. Millions lost, families shattered, a whole people nearly erased. And when the survivors counted their dead, mourned their losses, and stood together again, they said two words the whole world heard: "Never again." And they meant it. Oh, they meant it. Because never again is not a slogan, it's a contract. It's a commitment that demands action. They said, "We'll build a nation, we'll build an army, we'll build a future, we'll spend treasure, we'll give our strength, we'll give our sweat, we'll pay the price, whatever it is." And they did. And in doing so, they demonstrated a principle you and I must learn for our own lives. When the declaration is strong enough, the discipline shows up. Now, you may not be rebuilding a nation, but you might be rebuilding a life. Your life. A life that's been drifting, a life that's been settling, a life that's been living on someday. And someday is a thief. Someday steals dreams. Someday steals potential. Someday steals years, but never again now. That's a builder. That's a creator. That's a warrior phrase. It's the day you say, "Never again will I treat my potential casually. Never again will I let excuses walk all over my goals. Never again will I waste seasons waiting for motivation. Never again will I allow my past to dictate my future." That's the day your winter arc truly begins. You see, never again is the ignition switch. It turns the lights on. It wakes up the giant inside. It summons strength you didn't know you had. It silences the weak voice and strengthens the courageous one. It's the moment your self-respect rises. And nothing moves a life forward faster than the return of self-respect. Let me give you a Jim Rohn philosophy. Your life changes the moment you make a decision so strong that the world cannot talk you out of it. When you say never again, you close the back door. You burn the exit plan. You eliminate the escape route. And that is why the next 90 days can become the turning point of your lifetime, because they are built on a foundation of resolve, not preference. On a promise, not a mood. Remember this. Weak decisions create weak lives. Strong decisions create strong futures. And the strongest decision you can ever make is the decision that ends an old chapter and begins a new one. The moment you say, this is the day my old life ends and my real life begins, that's the power of never again. It's the door you close so a new one can open. Now, let me tell you something I learned many years ago. People don't change because they read a good book. People don't change because they watched a good video. People don't even change because they heard a great seminar. No, people change because something on the inside finally stirs. Something shifts. Something wakes up. And that awakening always begins with emotion. See, the mind can know something for 10 years and do nothing. But the moment the heart gets involved, the life starts moving. Emotion is the great activator. Logic can instruct you, but emotion drives you. And there are 4 emotions, just 4, that have the power to turn a life around in a single day. Let me share them with you. 1, emotion. 1, disgust. I've had it. This is where it all begins. Disgust is a powerful emotion. It's not mild frustration. It's not casual annoyance. It's not, I should really do better someday. No. Disgust is the day you say, I am done. Done with the excuses. Done with the mediocrity. Done with the 37-cent can of beans mentality. I remember telling the story of a man who watched his wife at the grocery store picking between 2 cans of beans, one 37 cents, the other 39 cents. And she didn't even like the cheaper one, but she bought it to save 2 cents. And the man said, that's it. I can't keep living like this. I've had it. Let me tell you, that's a glorious day. The day your stomach turns just enough to propel you forward. The day you get sick, yes, sick of your own story. Disgust is the emotional spark of the winter arc. It tells you, I refuse to stay here another day. 2, emotion. 2, decision. The inner civil war must end. Now, disgust will get you started, but decision keeps you going. Decision is the moment the knots in your stomach tighten and you say, all right, enough debating, enough delaying, I'm choosing a direction. We call it the inner civil war. The battle between your potential and your excuses. The war between your comfort and your calling. The fight between what feels good now and what will feel good later. But here's the truth. Your life won't change until your decision gets stronger than your hesitation. And sometimes making a decision is harder than doing the work itself. I've always said, if it's easy, do it easy. If it's hard, do it hard. Just get it done. A man or woman who finally decides, honestly decides, already has half the victory won. 3, emotion. 3, desire, wanting to bad enough. Desire is a mysterious one. You can't buy it. You can't ship it. You can't borrow it. It doesn't come in a box from Amazon. Desire has to come from inside. But here's the good news, it can be triggered. Sometimes a book does it. Sometimes a lecture. Sometimes a tragedy. Sometimes a friend says just the right sentence. Sometimes life squeezes you a little. Sometimes life squeezes you a lot. And suddenly, the desire to change lights up like a switch inside your soul. And I tell my staff, welcome every human experience. You never know which one's going to turn it all on. Even the hard ones. Especially the hard ones. Because sometimes from the bitterest experience comes the greatest awakening. 4, emotion. 4, resolve, I will. This is the king of all emotions. Resolve, the emotion that says, I will. Not, I'd like to. Not, I hope to. Not, I'll try. I will. 2 of the most powerful words ever spoken. Benjamin Disraeli said, nothing can resist a human will that will stake even its existence on the extent of its purpose. Shortened down, I'll do it or die. Now, don't misunderstand. That's not about harming yourself. It's about eliminating the option of quitting. It's about closing every escape route and saying, this mountain is mine. They told me it's too high, too rocky, too difficult, but it's my mountain, and I will climb it. You'll see me waving from the top, or you'll find me on the side, but I'm not coming back down. A junior high school girl once told me the best definition of resolve I've ever heard. I asked her, darling, what do you think resolve means? She said, Mr. Rohn, I think it means promising yourself you will never give up. I said, Webster, move aside. That's the one. Resolve is the emotion that seals the winter arc. Resolve is the emotion that keeps you here when comfort whispers, not today. Resolve is the emotion that guarantees the seeds you plant will become a harvest. And those four emotions, disgust, decision, desire, resolve, are the engine of transformation. They start the arc. They power the arc. They carry you through the arc. And without them, no plan, no book, no video, no seminar can help you. But with them, you can turn your entire life around. Now, let me take you a little deeper. Not into the habits yet, not into the plans or the checklists, but into the philosophy. Because philosophy is what drives behavior, and behavior is what drives results. If you want your results to change, you must start by upgrading the thinking behind them. And one of the greatest truths I ever learned is this: life operates by seasons. You don't get spring in December. You don't get harvest in February. You don't get a garden because you want one. You get it because you respected the seasons. You planted in the spring. You nourished in the summer. You harvested in the fall. And when winter came, you prepared for the next cycle. Now, most people ignore winter. They fight winter. They complain about winter. They resent winter. But winter is not the enemy. Winter is the invitation. Winter is the time to rethink, reorganize, rebuild. Winter is nature's reminder that you and I must step back every so often, take stock of our lives, and say what must be preserved, what must be improved, what must be discarded. And this is the essence of your winter arc. It's a season not for hoping, not for wishing, but for preparation. Not for chaos, but for order. Not for excuses, but for design. I've often said, it's not the wind that determines your destination, but the set of the sail. Winter is when you fix your sail. Let me give you a philosophy that changed my life. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Because your job can make you a living, but working on yourself can make you a fortune. The winter arc is where you work on yourself, where you build the character, the discipline, the habits, the mindset, the maturity, the clarity that create a future worth living in. See, people are always trying to change their life by changing their circumstances. But circumstances are like the weather, always shifting. What you want is something inside you that doesn't shift. Something steady. Something strong. A core you can rely on when things get tough. That inner stability is built in winter. Winter is where you slow down to speed up. Winter is where you prune the branches so the tree can grow. Winter is where you make the decisions the next version of you will thank you for. Let me put it simply. Winter is the season of discipline, the season of preparation, the season of foundations, the season where you stop hoping for a better year and start becoming the kind of person who creates one. Remember this. You don't get a better life by chance. You get it by change. And you don't get that change in the sunshine and warm breeze of summer. You get it in the cold, quiet, honest environment of winter where distractions fade, emotions settle, and the truth becomes clear. And let me tell you one more thing. Winter is not punishment. Winter is permission. Permission to reset. Permission to rise. Permission to rebuild. Permission to say, the old chapter ends here, the new one starts today. And when you understand that philosophy, when you embrace the purpose of winter, when you accept its discomfort as part of its wisdom, then the winter arc stops being a challenge and becomes an opportunity. The opportunity to build the person who can handle the spring when it arrives. Because spring will come, opportunity will come, good fortune will come. But the question is, will you be ready? That is the philosophy behind the winter arc. Not suffering, not struggle, but preparation, rich, powerful, deliberate preparation. Now that we understand the season, The philosophy, the emotions. It's time to talk about the plan, because emotion is the spark, but discipline is the engine. And without a plan, even the strongest emotion fades. Without structure, even the greatest desire dissolves. So let's design a winter arc so clear, so simple, so practical that you can begin it tomorrow morning and keep going for the next 90 days. I want you to think of your life in 4 great domains, 4 pillars, 4 areas that determine almost everything else about the quality of your life. And if we can take these 4 areas, upgrade them, strengthen them, organize them, your entire life will rise along with them. Let's walk through each domain together. Domain 1, your money. Build order before wealth. Money is not everything, but it touches everything. And too many people live their entire lives in a constant state of financial anxiety, bills, debts, confusion, disorganization. And let me tell you, you can't live a powerful life if you're always living a pressured one. And here's a philosophy that changed my life. You must master the smallest before life trusts you with the biggest. If you cannot manage the dollars, life will not give you the hundreds. If you cannot manage the hundreds, life will not give you the thousands. So for the next 90 days, here's your winter arc money mission. Track every dollar. Create a simple spending plan. Get rid of waste. Build one new money-making skill. Review your finances weekly. And don't say, but it's too small. Of course it's small. That's why it works. You're building the foundation, not the fireworks. And foundations are built quietly, carefully, consistently. Remember the old Jim Rohn rule. Don't start increasing your standard of living until you increase your standard of earning. 90 days from now, you won't just have more money, you'll have more clarity. And clarity is worth more than cash. Domain 2, your body. Energy is a moral obligation. Let me tell you something important. Your body is the engine of your ambition. If your energy is low, your future is limited. If your body is weak, your discipline is compromised. If your health collapses, everything collapses with it. So for the winter arc, forget the 6-pack, forget the gym selfies, forget the overnight miracle. Focus on energy, stability, consistency. For the next 90 days, move every day. A walk counts. Drink water. Not complicated. Sleep on purpose. Eat like someone building a future, not someone escaping a present. Cut the sugar. Cut the junk. Cut the late night chaos. And let me give you a little philosophy. If you care about your future, you must care about the machine that gets you there. Your body is not just a body, it's your productivity system, your confidence factory, your discipline trainer. And if you take care of it, it will take care of your dreams. Domain 3, your mind. Read, journal, review. Your mind is the command center. And you've got to feed it right. You've got to protect it. You've got to stretch it. You've got to discipline it. Most people guard their phone battery better than their own mindset. During your winter arc, read 10 pages of something valuable every day. Journal your wins, your lessons, your goals. Review your week with honesty. Limit the noise, news, negativity, nonsense. Replace passive consumption with intentional learning. Why? Because Jim Rohn philosophy says, your life will improve when you improve, not when your spouse improves, not when your job improves, not when the government improves. When you improve, and improvement is a mental game long before it's a physical one. Domain 4, your people, the 5 that shape your future. Now let me share one of my most famous principles. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. 5 influences, 5 voices, 5 attitudes, 5 standards. And those 5 shape your life more than genetics, more than luck, more than circumstances. So during your winter arc, reduce the time you spend with complainers, doubters, gossipers. Increase the time you spend with builders, learners, achievers. Add one mentor, someone online or offline, whose life gives you something to aim for. Join one community or group that encourages growth. Because here's the truth. You can't build a champion's life surrounded by spectator attitudes. A winter arc is a season of upgrading your environment. And sometimes the easiest way to change your life is to change the people you allow access to your mind. Pulling it all together, the 90-day life blueprint. Each domain is powerful on its own, but when you combine them, the effect is extraordinary. The money brings clarity. The body brings energy. The mind brings focus. The people bring direction. And when clarity, energy, focus, and direction line up, your life cannot help but rise. For the next 90 days, you are building the version of yourself who can handle the opportunities ahead. The disciplined version, the prepared version, the focused version, the version who doesn't wait for motivation because they operate from purpose. That's the essence of the Never Again plan. A season of structure that produces a life of strength. Now let's bring this winter arc down to the ground into the daily discipline, the day-to-day rhythm that shapes your next 90 days. Because let me tell you something important. The secret to your future is hidden in your daily routine, not your yearly goals, not your big dreams, not your 6-month resolutions. Your daily routine, what you do consistently, will always outweigh what you do occasionally. So let me give you the daily practices that can transform your winter arc into a life-changing season. Nothing complicated, nothing extravagant, just simple, steady disciplines repeated until the world can't help but notice. Let's begin. 1. The morning discipline. Either you run the day or the day runs you. Your winter arc starts every morning, not with your phone, not with chaos, not with the noise of the world. It begins with ownership. The morning sets the tone for everything that follows. And if you start the day behind, you'll spend the whole day catching up. So here are your morning disciplines. A. Wake up with purpose, not panic. You don't have to wake up at 5 a.m., but you do have to wake up on purpose. Not snoozing life away, not rolling into your day half asleep. Wake with intent. B. Read something valuable. Just 10 pages, not 50. Not a whole book, just enough to nourish the mind. Enough to remind you who you're becoming. C. Journal your direction. 2 minutes. 3 sentences. What are your goals? What matters today? What must not be ignored? This is how you strengthen clarity. D. Move your body. Walk, stretch, jump, do something. Not to build the perfect physique, but to build the perfect pattern, the pattern of action first. Do those 4 every morning, and you'll walk into the world with momentum instead of confusion. 2. The midday discipline. Work on your work. Midday is where life tries to steal your focus. Phone calls, distractions, interruptions, temptations. And if you let it, the world will waste your time and hand you the bill. During your winter arc, your midday discipline is simple. A. Protect at least 1 hour. 1 hour. That's it. An hour where you work deeply on something that matters. Your skills, your craft, your education, your career. I call it the hour of honor because you honor your future by honoring this hour. B. Track small wins. People overestimate what they can do in a week and underestimate what they can do in an hour. Write down 1 win. Just 1. You're building a track record of progress. C. Practice 1 act of discipline. Say no to something. Turn off your phone for 20 minutes. Skip the junk food. Finish the task you were avoiding. Every act of discipline has a reward. That reward may not come instantly, but it comes eventually, and when it comes, it's enormous. 3. The evening discipline completion creates confidence. How you end the day determines whether you rise tomorrow or repeat tomorrow. Most people finish their day with randomness. They collapse into bed with no reflection, no insight, no preparation. Not you, not during your winter arc. A. Reflect on your day. Just a few minutes. What did you learn? What did you earn? What did you avoid? What do you adjust tomorrow? This is how you grow wisdom. B. Learn something. Not entertainment education. Watch a lecture. Read a chapter. Study a skill. Life honors the learner. And if you learn more this winter than you did last year, your next year will not look like your last. C. Strengthen relationships. Send a message to a mentor. Encourage a friend. Have a meaningful conversation. Life is richer when you invest in people. D. Plan tomorrow before you sleep. Write it down. 3 priorities. That's all. Don't start tomorrow until it's finished on paper. If you wait until morning to plan, the world will plan for you. And trust me, you won't like their plan. 4. The discipline of consistency. Small disciplines repeated with consistency lead to great achievements. Let me share a little Jim Rohn philosophy. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Not spectacular ones, not extreme ones, just simple, steady, repeatable disciplines. The winter arc is not about perfection, it's about pattern, a daily pattern that reinforces clarity in the morning, focus in the afternoon, reflection in the evening. And when you repeat that day 90 times, you won't recognize yourself. 90 days of consistent discipline will outperform 10 years of inconsistent effort. Always. If you build the day builds the life. And the winter arc is your chance to build days so good that your future cannot ignore them. Now let me give you the truth about any long journey, especially a 90-day transformation. The days matter, yes, but the weeks determine whether you stay the course. The daily disciplines build momentum, but the weekly practices keep your momentum from slipping away. If the day is the brushstroke, the week is the canvas. And if you want the painting to come out right, you must step back every so often to see what you're actually creating. So let me give you the weekly rituals, what I call the locks that keep your winter arc tight, structured, and purposeful. These are not suggestions, these are anchors. These are the checkpoints that prevent you from drifting back into the life you're trying to leave behind. Let's go through them one by one. 1. The weekly review. Don't start your week until it's finished on paper. This is one of the most important philosophies I ever discovered. Most people start their week on Monday morning, but achievers, leaders, disciplined men and women, they start their week before the week starts. They finish it on paper, then they go live it. Take 1 hour, sometime during the weekend, and sit down with yourself. No distractions, no noise, just you, your notebook, and an honest look at your life. Ask yourself, what did I accomplish this week? What did I avoid that I should have faced? What needs improvement? What deserves celebration? What lesson showed up? This is how you grow. This is how you adjust. This is how you stay on track. A life examined weekly does not drift yearly. 2, the weekly cleanup. Order breeds clarity. Now here's a little success secret. A messy environment produces a messy mind. You can't create discipline in chaos. So once a week you need a reset, a cleanup of your physical world. Tidy your room, clear your desk, organize your tools. Reset your workspace, refresh your environment. This isn't about cleaning, it's about clarity. When your environment looks disciplined, you start behaving disciplined. It's amazing what a clean desk and a clear floor can do for your confidence. Remember, your environment whispers to you all day long. Make sure it's whispering the right things. 3, the weekly financial check. Direction, not guesswork. Earlier, we talked about mastering your money. But mastery requires monitoring. Once a week, take a look at your numbers, your income, your expenses, your habits. Ask, where did my money go? What waste can I remove? What progress did I make? What new opportunity emerged? You can't improve what you don't measure. And if you don't tell your money where to go, it will wander off all by itself. Your future wealth starts with weekly financial honesty. 4, the weekly skill upgrade. A new you requires new capabilities. Every week of the winter arc, commit to upgrading one skill, even if just a little, something that increases your value in the marketplace, something that improves your ability to build a better life. Maybe it's communication. Maybe it's sales. Maybe it's editing videos. Maybe it's learning a new software. Maybe it's leadership. Because remember the Jim Rohn philosophy? You don't get paid for the hour. You get paid for the value you bring to the hour. Increase your value weekly, and the world won't be able to ignore you. 5. The weekly relationship investment connection multiplies growth. Once a week, reach out and invest in your relationships, your mentors, your friends, your family, your team. Success is not a solo sport. It's a shared journey. Send a message of gratitude. Schedule a conversation. Share what you've learned. Ask someone how they're doing. Strong relationships are like insurance policies. They protect you, inspire you, guide you, and sometimes save you. And here's the secret. You attract better people when you become a better person. Your weekly discipline makes you that person. 6. The weekly reset of resolve. Remind your spirit who's in charge. Once a week, remind yourself why you started. Sit down and revisit your goals, your reasons, your motivations. Reread what you wrote on day 1. Reconnect with your disgust, your decision, your desire, your resolve. Because the world will try to soften you. Comfort will try to weaken you. Distractions will try to seduce you. And old habits will try to reclaim you. But every week, you have a chance to say, not this time, not this season, never again. That weekly reset becomes your fire, your anchor, your spiritual check-in. The power of weekly structure. If the daily disciplines give you progress, the weekly practices give you direction, they prevent drift, delay, decline, and discouragement. They convert the winter arc from a burst of inspiration into a long-term transformation. Think of it this way. Your days build the muscle. Your weeks build the mindset. And when mindset and muscle join forces, that's when real change happens. Now, let me tell you the truth about any serious transformation. Somewhere along the path, you will feel like quitting. Oh, yes. Maybe not on day 1, maybe not on week 2, but give it time. Your old habits will knock on the door. Your old comfort will whisper your name. Your old identity will try to reclaim the throne. And that moment, ladies and gentlemen, that moment is the real test of your winter arc. The test is not the first week. Anyone can be motivated for 7 days. Anyone can start a program. Anyone can feel excited. The test comes when excitement fades and resolve must rise. So let me give you the philosophy, the stories, and the practices that keep you from quitting so this winter arc becomes a turning point instead of another attempt. 1, the baby learning to walk. How long should the baby try? I love asking this question to a room full of people. How long should the baby try to learn to walk? 2 weeks? A month? 6 months? When should we tell the baby, all right, kid, that's enough. You've fallen too many times. Walking just isn't for you. No mother on earth would say such nonsense. Every mother says the same thing. My child will keep trying until they learn. Until. That word until is the most powerful word in personal development. Not try for a bit. Not see if it works. Not give it a good attempt. Until you get better. Until you grow stronger. Until you learn the skill. Until you reach the goal. Until you break through the old limitations. And if a baby who knows nothing of discipline or philosophy or achievement can keep getting up 1,000 times, surely you can keep going for a few weeks. Quitting is easy for the person who has forgotten until. Continuing is possible for the person who remembers it. 2, the middle is the hardest, the law of diminishing excitement. There is a law in personal development. You won't find it in physics, but you will find it in life. I call it the law of diminishing excitement. The beginning is fun. The end is exciting. The middle is where most people disappear. And let me tell you why. The middle feels ordinary. The newness is gone. The victory is not yet here. You're working, but not seeing results fast enough. And the mind says, is it really worth it? And the body says, this is uncomfortable. And your past says, come back. We miss you. But the middle is also where growth happens. It's where identity is shaped. It's where resolve is tested. It's where discipline is forged. You can't become strong without the middle. You can't build character without the middle. You can't transform a life without the middle. The middle is the proof you're transforming. 3, use environment as your discipline partner. Don't rely on willpower. Willpower is like a muscle. It gets tired. It burns out. It fails you at the worst moments. But environment is stronger than willpower. So during your winter arc, keep your workspace clean so it invites focus. Keep your phone out of reach during deep work. Keep unhealthy food out of your kitchen. Keep your journal on your pillow so you don't forget. Keep inspiring voices around you. You'd be amazed how much easier life becomes when you stop putting temptations 2 feet from your face. Remember, the easiest way to not eat the cookies is to not buy the cookies. Set up your environment so it supports your resolve instead of sabotaging it. 4. Track and celebrate small wins. Progress produces persistence. People quit because they believe they're not moving. They are moving, they just aren't measuring it. Success is invisible in the beginning. It's quiet. It's tiny. It's subtle. But if you track your wins, your workouts, your reading, your income improvements, your decisions, your habits, you'll start to see patterns. And patterns create belief. Every check mark is a vote for your future. Every completed day is a brick in the new identity. Every week of consistency proves you can trust yourself again. And let me tell you, self-trust is one of the greatest treasures you'll ever earn. 5. Master the identity shift. I'm the kind of person who most people quit because they are trying to change their behavior while keeping their old identity. You don't need a new plan. You need a new identity. Start saying, I'm the kind of person who doesn't miss workouts. I'm the kind of person who finishes what they start. I'm the kind of person who honors their own word. I'm the kind of person who stays consistent. Behavior follows identity. When you change your identity, quitting feels unnatural. 6. Remove the option of quitting. Burn the ships. A man once said, when you commit, eliminate. Eliminate the exit. Eliminate the escape. Eliminate the back door. And that's what resolve is. If you commit to 60 workouts, don't make quitting an option. If you commit to 90 days of focus, don't plan your excuses in advance. If you commit to the winter arc, don't give yourself an emotional refund policy. Close the door behind you. Burn the bridge. Lock the escape route. Tell yourself this season quitting is not on the menu. And when quitting is not an option, consistency becomes inevitable. 7. Remember your reasons. Purpose creates endurance. When the work gets hard, remember why you started. Because you were tired of drifting. Because you wanted a better future. Because your family deserves the best version of you. Because you haven't lived your best life yet. Because never again means something to you. Reasons create resilience. And a person with powerful reasons can endure almost anything. The anti-quit philosophy in one sentence. You only fail when you refuse to get up. As long as you get up again and again and again, you're still in the game. You're still becoming. You're still rising. And the winter arc is not for perfect people. It's for persistent people. People with resolve. People with courage. People with enough belief to begin and enough discipline to continue. Let me close our time together tonight by sharing something I've learned, something I've lived, and something I've watched in thousands of others over the years. Every meaningful life eventually becomes a story. Not a list of tasks, not a record of errands, not a pile of duties, but a story of progress, a story of courage, a story of transformation. And one day, not too far from now, you will tell your story. Someone will ask you, how did it all change for you? How did you go from where you were to where you are? And you will smile, lean back, and say something like this. Well, there was one winter. A winter when you got tired of your own excuses. A winter when you grew disgusted enough to say, never again. A winter when you made decisions strong enough to pull you forward. A winter when you found desire powerful enough to stir the heart. A winter when you uncovered resolve deep enough to build a future. A winter when you stopped drifting, stopped waiting, stopped hoping, and started designing. A winter when you built your money habits, your health patterns, your mental structure, your relationships, your discipline, your courage, your environment. A winter when you told the old life, this is your stop, and the new life, you're coming with me. Yes, that winter when you did the little things every day. That winter when you honored yourself every week. That winter when you refused to quit midway. That winter when discipline felt uncomfortable, but quitting felt unacceptable. That winter when you understood, maybe for the first time, that you are the architect of your own destiny. And when you tell that story, others will listen. They'll lean in. They'll feel the meaning in your words. Because everyone dreams of turning points. Everyone hopes for fresh beginnings. Everyone longs for a moment that rewrites the rest of the journey. And you will have lived one. My wish for you is simple. Let this winter arc be the season that becomes your story. Let it be the season you talk about years from today. Let it be the season that changes your direction and therefore your destiny. And above all, let this be the winter where you prove to yourself, not to the world, not to your friends, not to your critics, but to yourself, that you can trust your own word. That when you say never again, you mean it. That when you say I will, you follow through. Do your part, and life will do its part. Prepare the soil, and the spring will come to reward you. Build the foundation, and the future will rise to meet you. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish for you the discipline, the wisdom, and the courage to make this winter arc the turning point of your life. May your next 90 days become the beginning of the story you were always meant to tell. Thank you, and may God bless your journey ahead.